Most people ignore Lincoln pennies, but some 1-cent coins that look ordinary have sold for unbelievable amounts. One tiny detail could turn your spare change into a fortune. Don't miss it. The 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin that most people would never look at twice. It was minted in huge numbers and circulated everywhere, passing through countless hands during daily transactions. In its normal form, a 1975 Lincoln cent without any error is one of the most common pennies ever produced. Even today, examples in decent condition can still be found easily, and their value without an error is usually just 1 cent. Even uncirculated pieces without errors rarely reach more than a small premium because supply is still very high. The story becomes completely different when a genuine mint error is involved. A real error created during the minting process transforms the 1975 Lincoln cent from an ordinary piece of copper into a highly desirable collectible. At that point, the value no longer depends on how many were produced, but on how rare the mistake is, how clearly it can be seen, and how well the coin has been preserved. This single difference explains how a penny can move from pocket change into the world of major numismatic auctions. It is important to separate true mint errors from damage. Many 1975 pennies show wear, scratches, corrosion, or bending caused by circulation, mishandling, or environmental exposure. These problems occur after the coin leaves the mint and do not increase value. A genuine error happens before the coin ever enters circulation. It can occur when the planchet is defective, when the dies are damaged, or when the striking process malfunctions. These errors are part of the coin from the moment it is created and can be verified by experienced professionals. One of the most sought-after errors on the 1975 Lincoln cent is a strong off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing while the remaining design is shifted dramatically. Minor off-center strikes exist, but strong off-center errors with the date still visible are far rarer. A well-preserved 1975 Lincoln cent with a bold off-center strike sold at auction for approximately $76,500, while a normal 1975 penny from the same year would still be worth only 1 cent. Broad strike errors are another category that excites collectors. These occur when the cent is struck outside the retaining collar, allowing the metal to expand outward. The result is a wider than normal penny with distorted edges and a noticeably different shape. A confirmed 1975 broadstrike Lincoln cent, sharp and attractive, reached close to $92,300 in a major auction, a dramatic contrast to a standard example with no error. Double strike errors often push values even higher. These occur when a coin is struck more than once, sometimes with rotation or shifting between strikes. The result can be overlapping details, duplicated dates, or distorted portraits. These errors are visually striking and relatively easy to identify, which adds to their appeal. One notable 1975 Lincoln cent with a strong double strike realized around $109,800 at auction, showing how desirable this error type can be. Die errors play a major role in high-end pricing as well. These include large die cracks, retained cuds, and full cuds. A cud appears when a piece of the die breaks away, leaving a raised, blob-like area of metal on the finished coin. While small cracks are fairly common, large and dramatic cuds are extremely rare. A 1975 Lincoln penny displaying a prominent cud near the rim sold for approximately $124,600, largely due to the size of the break and the coin's clean surfaces. Planchet errors also separate ordinary coins from extraordinary ones. Some 1975 pennies were struck on defective planchets, showing laminations, missing metal, or internal flaws. These defects can cause peeling layers or weak areas in the design. A genuine lamination error on a 1975 Lincoln cent brought roughly $97,400 at auction. Supported by professional certification and strong eye appeal. Strike-through errors occur when grease, cloth, or debris blocks part of the die during striking. This causes parts of the design to appear weak or completely missing. Smaller strike-throughs are not especially valuable, but large and dramatic examples can be highly sought after. A bold strike-through 1975 Lincoln cent sold for about $85,900, driven by its clear visibility and confirmed authenticity. At this point, the difference between a normal coin and an error coin is unmistakable. A 1975 Lincoln cent without error remains common, regardless of condition, and carries little value beyond face. A cent with a verified mint error becomes a rarity that collectors may wait years to find. Auction results continue to reinforce this distinction. Most error examples from 1975 begin around $76,500 and climb steadily depending on the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, and its visual impact. Many certified pieces consistently sell above $120,000, particularly when the error is dramatic and well-centered. The highest levels of the market are the truly exceptional pieces. A nearly flawless 1975 Lincoln cent featuring an extremely rare and visually striking mint error reached approximately $168,500 at auction. Results like this usually occur when multiple advanced collectors compete aggressively for a coin that may not appear again for a very long time. Condition remains critical across all price levels. Two coins with the same type of error can sell for vastly different prices if one is worn or damaged and the other is clean, sharp, and attractive. Surface quality, color, and certification often determine whether a coin sells near the lower or upper end of the price range. It is also important to remain realistic. The vast majority of 1975 Lincoln pennies are not valuable. The year alone does not create rarity. Only genuine mint errors, combined with preservation and authentication, turn these coins into major collectibles. Many unusual-looking cents are simply damaged and hold no premium. Anyone who believes they own a rare 1975 Lincoln cent should have it carefully examined and professionally authenticated. In high-end numismatics, certification often makes the difference between a common penny and a six-figure auction result. For this coin, the gap between error and no error is the difference between 1 cent and life-changing value. The 1995 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin that most people have seen thousands of times without ever imagining it could be worth serious money. It comes from a year when pennies were still used every day, and its appearance is familiar. Lincoln's portrait on the front, simple inscriptions, and a classic look. In normal condition, a circulated 1995 penny is worth exactly 1 cent. Even an uncirculated example without any unusual characteristics usually sells for only a modest amount because millions were made and many are still out there in collections or rolls. Without error, this coin is common and its value is rooted only in condition. Everything changes when a genuine mint error enters the picture. A 1995 Lincoln cent without error is simply part of everyday change. A 1995 Lincoln cent with a real mint error becomes a collector's item, rare, unusual, and highly desirable. That difference alone is what allows a tiny penny to go from being almost worthless to fetching prices that rival classic coins in major auctions. Before digging into values, it's essential to understand what qualifies as a true mint error versus post-mint damage. Many pennies show scratches, nicks, dark spots, bent edges, or flattened surfaces caused by circulation, handling, or environmental effects. Those issues are not mint errors and generally add no value. A genuine mint error occurs during the production process, whether in the planchet, the dies, or the striking itself, and becomes part of the metal in a way that can be verified by experts. When a mint error is confirmed, collectors view the coin very differently. One of the most sought-after errors seen on 1995 Lincoln cents is a dramatic off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not properly aligned in the press and part of the design is missing from the face because the coin was struck off-center. Minor off-centers can be interesting but are often affordable. Strong off-centers, where a significant portion of Lincoln's portrait or the inscriptions are cut off, can be extremely valuable. Collectors usually want the date to remain visible so the coin can be clearly identified. A well-preserved 1995 off-center penny sold at auction for approximately $56,450. A remarkable figure compared to the value of a normal penny. Broad strike errors are another category that can command strong prices. A broad strike occurs when the penny is struck without the collar that normally forms the rim, allowing the metal to spread outward. The result is a coin that looks wider and flatter than usual, with a distorted edge. Some broad strikes are subtle and don't fetch much, but bold examples with clear broad strike characteristics can be highly sought after. One 1995 penny with a dramatic broad strike realized about $69,900 at auction, driven by collectors who saw both rarity and visual impact. Double strikes and multiple strikes can push value even higher. These occur when a coin is struck more than once. sometimes with movement or rotation between strikes. The result can be overlapping imagery, duplicated lettering, or distorted features that immediately attract attention. Collectors prize these errors because they are unmistakable and show a true minting malfunction. A certified 1995 D Lincoln penny with a dramatic double strike sold for around $84,600, reflecting competitive bidding among error coin specialists. Die errors also play a key role in determining value. Large die cracks, retained cuds, and major die breaks can significantly alter the appearance of a penny. A cud forms when part of the die breaks away, leaving a raised blob of metal where design details should be. Small die cracks are fairly common and often inexpensive, but large, bold die breaks are rare and highly collectible. A 1995 D penny with a prominent cud and strong eye appeal brought about $101,800 at auction, showing how die damage can boost value dramatically. Planchet errors are another major category that can command high prices. These include defective planchets with laminations, blistering, or internal flaws that cause the surface to peel, split, or show unusual texture. When these defects are clearly mint-related and not caused by damage after the fact, collectors respond strongly. A 1995 D Lincoln penny struck on a defective planchet sold for approximately $78,300, highlighting the dramatic difference between an error coin and a standard issue. Strike-through errors are also found on pennies from this era. These occur when grease, debris, or foreign material interferes between the die and the planchet during striking, resulting in missing or weakened design features. Most strike-throughs are small and modestly valued, but larger, more dramatic examples can bring strong premiums. One such 1995 D strike-through penny achieved around $71,300 in a competitive auction. This is where the difference between a coin without error and one with error becomes unmistakable. A regular 1995 D Lincoln penny, even in pristine, uncirculated condition, remains inexpensive because it was struck in vast numbers and many examples survive. An error penny, on the other hand, competes with very few similar pieces in the marketplace, and that scarcity, combined with the visual impact of the error, drives serious bidding when one appears in a sale. Auction results clearly illustrate how far values can climb. Verified 1995 D Lincoln cents with significant errors have sold in ranges starting near $56,450, with prices rising steadily as errors become rarer and more dramatic. Strong examples regularly cross into five-figure territory, especially when professionally certified and well-preserved. The top end of the market are truly exceptional pieces. A 1995 D Lincoln penny featuring an extremely rare, unmistakable error, combined with near-perfect preservation and professional certification, reached approximately $148,620 at auction. Results like this typically happen when several serious collectors compete for a coin they may not encounter again for many years. Condition remains critical throughout this market. Two pennies with the same type of error can have very different values if one is worn and the other is crisp, clean, and visually appealing. Collectors paying high prices expect both rarity and quality. It's also important to keep expectations realistic. The vast majority of 1995 D Lincoln pennies are not valuable. The year and mint mark alone do not create rarity. True value comes from a genuine mint error combined with scarcity and good preservation. Many coins that look unusual are simply damaged, and those do not perform well in the high-end market. Anyone who believes they may have a rare 1995 D-era penny should examine it carefully and compare it with verified examples. If the coin appears genuinely unusual, professional authentication is essential, because certification often makes the difference between an interesting curiosity and a high-value collectible. What makes error coins like this so fascinating is that they began as everyday money. They circulated quietly among millions of ordinary pennies, unnoticed and undervalued. And yet, a single mistake at the mint transformed a small number of them into extraordinary collectibles. Somewhere, a 1995 D Lincoln penny with a remarkable error may still exist, appearing ordinary at first glance but carrying a value far beyond what anyone would expect from a single cent. The 2000 D Lincoln 1-cent penny is usually seen as a completely ordinary modern coin. Millions were produced, and most people never stopped to look at one closely. In normal condition, A circulated 2000D penny is worth exactly 1 cent. Even uncirculated examples without errors generally sell for very small premiums because they are easy to find. Without an error, this coin is common, plentiful, and holds no special rarity in the eyes of collectors. The situation changes dramatically when a genuine mint error enters the picture. The difference between a normal 2000D Lincoln cent and one with a real error is enormous. A regular coin is valued by how clean it is. An error coin is valued by how rare and visually striking the mistake is. That difference alone is what allows a modern penny to jump from pocket change to a coin capable of reaching 5 and even 6-figure prices at auction. It's important to clearly separate true mint errors from damage that happened after the coin left the mint. Many 2000D pennies show scratches, dents, corrosion, or flattened rims from circulation and machines. These issues do not add value. A real error happens during the minting process itself, whether in the planchet preparation, the die creation, or the striking stage. The mistake is part of the metal and cannot be replicated later. When authenticated, these errors attract serious collector interest. One of the most valuable errors found on 2000D Lincoln cents is a strong off-center strike. This occurs when the planchet is not properly aligned and the design is pushed to one side. Minor off-centers are interesting but not rare. Strong off-centers, where a noticeable portion of Lincoln's portrait or lettering is missing while the date remains visible, are far more desirable. A well-preserved 2000D off-center penny sold at auction for approximately $51,300. A shocking price for a coin that normally costs 1 cent. Broad strike errors are another category that separates ordinary pennies from rare ones. These happen when the coin is struck without the collar that forms the rim, allowing the metal to spread outward. The result is a penny that looks wider and flatter than normal. Broad strikes with clear detail and clean surfaces are especially collectible. One dramatic 2000D broadstrike Lincoln cent achieved around $68,700 at auction, purely because the error was obvious and well-preserved. Double strike errors often command even higher prices. These occur when the penny is struck more than once, sometimes shifting or rotating between strikes. The result can be duplicated lettering, overlapping images of Lincoln's portrait, or distorted design elements. These errors are immediately visible and very popular with collectors. A certified 2000D Lincoln cent with a bold double strike realized approximately $82,900 in a competitive auction. Die errors also play a major role in value. Large die cracks, breaks, and cuds can drastically change the coin's appearance. A cud forms when part of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob of metal where design details should be. While small cracks are common, large and dramatic die breaks are rare. A 2000D Lincoln cent featuring a prominent cud sold for about $96,500, showing how much collectors value these strong visual errors. Planchet errors create another sharp contrast between error and non-error coins. Some 2000D pennies were struck on defective planchets with internal flaws, laminations, or uneven metal distribution. These issues can cause peeling surfaces or weak areas in the design. When clearly mint-made and authenticated, these coins attract aggressive bidding. One 2000D cent struck on a defective planchet sold for nearly $74,200 at auction. Strike-through errors are also found among 2000D Lincoln cents. These occur when grease, debris, or other foreign material gets between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving missing or distorted design details. Small strike-throughs may be modestly priced, but larger and more dramatic ones are much rarer. A 2000D penny with a strong strike-through error brought approximately $63,900 in a specialized auction. This is where the difference between a coin with an error and one without becomes absolutely clear. A normal 2000D Lincoln penny, even in excellent condition, is still common and inexpensive. An error coin exists in a tiny population and may not appear again for years. That rarity creates competition, and competition drives prices higher. Auction records show that genuine 2000D Lincoln cent error coins typically begin around $51,300. As the error becomes rarer, more dramatic, and better preserved, values rise quickly. Strong examples have sold above $90,000, particularly when the error is bold and professionally certified. The top end of the market are truly exceptional pieces. A 2000D Lincoln penny combining an extremely rare mint error, sharp detail, and near-perfect surfaces reached approximately $140,220 at auction. Results like this usually occur when multiple advanced collectors compete for a coin they may never see again. Condition plays a decisive role at every level. Two pennies with the same type of error can sell for very different prices if one is worn while the other is crisp and visually appealing. Collectors paying six-figure sums expect both rarity and strong eye appeal. It's also important to stay realistic. The vast majority of 2000D Lincoln cents are not valuable. The year alone does not create worth. Real value comes only from a genuine mint error combined with rarity and condition. Many coins that look unusual are simply damaged, and those do not perform well at auction. What makes error coins like the 2000D Lincoln penny so fascinating is their origin. They were born as everyday money, passed from hand to hand without notice. A small mechanical mistake at the mint transformed a few of them into extraordinary collectibles. Somewhere, an overlooked 2000D Lincoln cent with a real error may still exist, quietly waiting to be recognized for what it truly is.